Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Since May 3, 2023, Manipur has been ablaze, enduring a brutal ethnic cleansings of indigenous peoples have campaigned by the armed Chin-Cookie narco-terrorists from Myanmar, Bangladesh. Manipur is situated on the Myanmar border, emerged as a major hub for opium productions, owing to the influx of illegal immigrants who surreptitiously settled near the Myanmar borders of Manipur, masquerading under false names and identities, who underhandedly cultivated poppy plantations. This underhanded activities not only exacerbates the climate change crisis, but also engulfs the youth in the perilous world of drug addictions, jeopardizing the prospects of future generations. Profits from the opium trade funds the acquisitions of sophisticated war weaponry, following the ongoing crashes, despite intelligence reports revealing arms acquisitions from neighboring countries to escalate turmoil and facilitate separate nations' agenda with aspirations of establishing autonomous drug havens within our territory. Indian states have largely ignored Manipur's plight and discriminated. The socio-economic fabric of the states lies in tatters with the prospects of recovery dimming over the horizons. Over 200 were killed, leaving over 51,000 language and relief camps, their homes razed by the militant narco-terrorists, epitomize the magnitude of the humanitarian crisis. Many are traumatized by their descent into poverty, with some contemplating tragic acts due to the absence of hope. Our United Nations General Secretary says that you are not alone. United Nations stands with you. Despite the United Nations prohibitions under international law's principles against attacks on civilians, the Manipur crisis remains largely overlooked and feels abandoned and isolated in the struggle for peace. Addressing the Vice President directly, Manipur implores insistence in addressing its human rights crisis and garnering support for the international community for collective actions and efforts to address the root causes of our strive towards lasting peace. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I stand before you as a mighty indigenous people of Manipur, India, deeply saddened by the ongoing turmoil in our state since May 3, 2023. More than 200 people were killed using the sophisticated war weapons. May I kindly request everyone a moment of silence for 5 seconds for the departed soul in their honor. Thank you. Over 4,700 houses were destroyed and over 51,000 people are displaced in relief camps. Many innocent students were raped, molested and murdered, their bodies colorlessly buried. The barbaric actions perpetrated by the Chin-Cookie narco-terrorists of Myanmar and Bangladesh, aiming to establish separate nations for free drug business and poppy plantations, have resulted in the savage slaughter of our indigenous populations, beheading with knives, dismemberment through chopping akin to the predative behavior of one element. Our Indian state's efforts to quell the turmoil have faltered, leaving a void of silence, especially as our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has remained conspicuously mute, not altering a single word more than 10 months on the plight of citizens and neglected to address the ongoing violence in Manipur. Mr. President, since our Indian states collapsed to maintain law and order, even our central paramilitary forces prove ineffective in safeguarding civilians, but they compromise through enticements. Now we are exhausted and left to defend our indigenous territory. Our youth forced to choose gun instead of pen because we don't have choice when the Indian states fail to protect its citizens from the armed militant illegal immigrants. It seems like every day we are in dire-like situation. Despite being indigenous people, we can move only 8% of the land and the rest of it were surrounded by the militant group. Mr. President, we implore your interventions to restore peace, security, human rights in Manipur. Lastly, we seek your interventions for financial cooperation and technical assistance support under Article 41 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. I thank you.
Thank you. The floor now.